So hello everyone, thanks for joining us today. Today we are going to speak about a special tool for diagramming, the Mermaid. And here with us is Archil from Georgia. He is going to tell us about this tool and share his experience. And I would also encourage you for participation in Q&A session. So please put your questions in the chat during the presentation and afterwards, so we can cover all of them after the presentation. And the best question will be granted by the page. So Archil will select the best one. Yeah, so I think we can start. It's already 2 minutes past the start event. So please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Tatiana, for introducing. I believe we can start our today's webinar. Well, as it says, it is a new tool which I myself discovered several months ago, and it started its operation somewhere like it was 2016. And because it is open source tool, it is updated constantly, and that's why I really loved it, you can say. I can go to presentation now. About myself, I'm a BA in the EPAM for the last 2 years. I worked as a BA, ERP consultant, and product manager for 6+ years in total. And over these times, I had to define a lot of stories, and I had to draw a lot of diagrams as well. And between this and during this experience, I found that there are really two kinds of diagrams. It's the one that you need to use for presenting on important meetings or some some documentation and so on, and the one that you need right now and as soon as possible. And we will talk about this tool and we can also use this tool in those kind of meeting. But second type is where it shines with most vivid colors, and that's mostly where time breaking happens for us, for BAs. If I can go next. Here is an agenda where we will do overview, diagrams, integrations and plugins, some of them, not all of them, export capabilities, and we will do little live demo on it, and then we can go to Q&A. It is a Mermaid. As you can see, it is an open source solution that's designed to build UML diagrams. It can create up to 12 types of diagrams, and as documentation says, there still are 2 or 3 in the development. When we first planned these meetings, there was I think 10 types of diagrams. 2 of them were added just after we planned this webinar. We will do most up to date, but still we will go over them. I'm sure most of you already know how to draw diagrams. I will not go into details of what that means and so on, but I will show you some of the capabilities which may be good use. Most of the important part also here is that this diagram is where I use this mostly is when I want to create something really fast. And I don't have time to go to Lucidchart or Visio to build up something from the scratch, and because it might take some hours, because I also, as I'm sure most of you, love this perfect notation in some of them. So yeah, that is its strength, I think, when you are on the grooming session or you want to document quickly some of the user stories and attach some of the diagrams that developers can use. Yeah, this is way to go. Yeah, and most important, it has really good documentation. Most of the knowledge comes from there. It is also constantly updated, and there are a lot of examples, a lot of tutorials also that you can use. So yeah, it's quite nice. But what really happens there is that we've got live editor. It's called like that because we are not drawing diagrams, we are writing in the markup language. We are writing a code, and the editor, the mermaid itself, draws up diagram. You will see in a little bit. It has some minuses, some pluses, but still it is a lot of that can be achieved here. Yeah, let's go to diagrams. Yeah, I will mostly use some of the stock diagrams here to make sure that we see what it is capable of. I even didn't include some of the things that are possible, but still, yeah, it's quite a good presentation in this way. So we have flowcharts first, of course. It starts with flowcharts. Here you can see there is just a small text, small markup script. And here is the diagram that is built in like a couple of seconds. We see that there are ways to have the nodes, the shapes of the nodes. You can see here, if I point this laser here, this Christmas is a rectangular shape. We have this go shopping, a little bit round shape. Stadium shape, if I'm correct. We've got this text over them that it's possible to go like notes or some verbs. We've got diamonds, obviously, where we can, in this case, here are 3 choices, but we can have more than 3. And also we've got some of the font awesome icons in case someone likes to use it. It's just, if you want to ask, it's version 4 or 5 for this diagram. Unfortunately, not for everyone is like that, so that's why I had to make it more concrete. Here, you can use several part of it. You can use it like to go. As you can see here, the TD, which means top to bottom. Also, you can go not to top to down. I mean, you can go to left to right. You can go right to left, bottom to top, however you like. So you can use it for that. Yeah, here also you can use several arrow types or several line types like dotted, stick, and so on and so on. There are a lot of possibilities there. There are some subgraphs, so you can group some of the notations between the shapes. Maybe some mini BPMN you can use it for, just to connect those groupings of different flows, and yeah, it's quite all right with that. Yeah, it may have some hyperlinks. I'm not sure who can use it, but still, yeah, you can just put some hyperlinks into some nodes and, I don't know, go there if you'd like. Next one is sequence diagram, which is my favorite. Basically, to tell a story, first I found that the markup possibility in the Lucid, where you could write the markup script and it would draw for you a diagram. But it was only for sequence, and I was always disappointed that Lucid did not add it for other types as well. But here there is one thing that it's better than Lucid. It's actor. We cannot add with markup, of course, with just normal drawing, you can do that, of course. But with markup, you can do that. Alias in this case is actor, and it will draw you this way. So it's not a problem. You can use other possible capabilities of the mermaid. In this case, you can group some actors and participants if you want this interactions to be like for different groups of the threads. You can have different, well, you can and you must different arrow and line types. It can be a lot of them. The most important ones for asynchronous and synchronous functions. Here you also can see that there are activation possibilities where you can activate an actor or participant for some time and use it. There is also numbering capabilities to number all of the notations on the diagram. So it's a lot. Of course, it has this nodes, loops, alternatives, parallel even. Yeah, that's mostly it. Only bad thing I would say here that it doesn't have this delete participant functionality, which some of you may use. But yeah, but in this case, you can have arrow type with X, and it will just say here that it's X and John was deleted. But yeah, it's one of the parts of it. Yeah, next one we can go is class diagram. Here it is also pretty straightforward. You can have here all the classes. You can write all the types of the attributes. Yeah, it shows operations or methods and relationships, of course. And yeah, and also the notations can be several types. Next one is state diagram. I mostly use it if I want to, for example, document some step functions, for example, from AWS. But also it shows some kind of flow, and it is the most simple of all the diagrams that are that Mermaid is capable of. So yeah, it's not for what state diagram is for, but still, if you are in the middle of the meeting and you want to show that, okay, this goes here, and so on, you can use state diagram. It has states, aliases, composite states, which means that you can group some of them, and you can have several groups into one group and also some groups inside of them. So it's really nice to use. It has forks and it may have choices, nodes, directions. So everything can be done here. And yeah, it's quite easy. And before it, I may or may have not used PowerPoint in the cases when I'm in the middle of the meeting and I'm trying to show what I mean to the developers, for example. Yeah, okay. Next one is ERD, Entity Relationship Diagram, which, I have not had a lot of data projects, but when I had, the notations for ERD diagrams was always trouble for me. Those one to many and many to many, and those kinds of notations were, always hard to just get that right. And seeing that this mermaid can do it for me, it's really nice, and it is quite easy. It shows all the entities that can be used, and relationships between each other. Here on the next slide, we can see how easy it is to draw up some of the notations, and also, most importantly, we can have the attributes of each element. So this is really good, and it's quite easy. I mean, at first, I also, when I was looking at some of those diagrams, it was hard to understand because I don't have some technical background. But after you make like 2, 3, 4 of these guys, it becomes quite easy. So yeah, that's it. Also, we can have mind map. Yeah, about mind map, yeah, it's quite straightforward. I cannot judge whether it's better to use mind map for here or I don't know the Miro or any other tools that are out there. Still, Mermaid gives us some capabilities to have all the different shapes or different trees for each of the elements, and it gives some different colors automatically to each of them, and it's just using tabs. It just go, you have one level of the elements, and you just go with tab, and that level goes under however much you want. You can also get some of the shapes. It technically has support for this 1004 as well, but yeah, as we can see here, it not always works. Well, anyway, it's on the documentation website of the Mermaid. It says that it's still under construction because yeah, I used this once for my current project, and the really bad side of it is that if your mind map grows quite large, I think it was 50 elements or 60 elements. The Mermaid had some issues showing it on the monitor and exporting it. So yeah, that's, well, I would say that at this point, using Miro is much better choice than Mermaid for mind maps. Um, Requirement diagram. This is quite new. Like some just happened. If you ever wanted to use during your documenting your elicitation results or different reasons you may use the requirement diagram. Yeah, we can have here two components, which is requirements and elements. Both of them have some fields. This is more strict. You cannot like add new fields to this. But yeah, you can use all of these fields. Like for requirement fields, there are IDs, text, risks, and verify methods. You can see here. And for element, it can be types or docref to like reference some of the document. And you can have notations between them, of course. And yeah, you can try to yeah connect them to each other. Yeah, next one we got user journey. Yeah, I have not used it to in Mermaid or anywhere to this moment, but yeah, it's there. So it's, yeah, if you can come up with some of the use case scenario in our professions that can use this diagram, feel free to text me. But yeah, it's nice to have diagram here. We've got Gantt charts. Here, yeah, it's you can still use it, but yeah, I also prefer some different already existing tools for it, so I will not go too much in details into it. We've got pie chart. Yeah, yeah, here also I would use Excel, but still, yeah, if you want to draw up something really, really fast and show some quick diagram without opening Microsoft 365. Yeah, it's nice to have. We've got Git diagram, which is mainly for developers. yeah, only way I used this was when I was learning Git courses in EPAM so that was only time I used it. But yeah, our team lead uses it sometimes to track and to document some of the Git processes on our project. Yeah. Next section we are going to go is integrations and plugins. Well, basically, to say the least, Mermaid can have a lot of integrations. Mostly those are technical. If you will go to documentation page, there is a possibility to see all of those, but yeah, I decided to get here most important ones in my opinion, which can be used. It is plugin for Draw.io. Yeah, it uses basically everything same that Mermaid does, apart from some minor details like hyperlinks and so on. For some reason, Draw.io cannot draw it. Uh, and um, and yeah, it's but it's nice to have there. It's if some of you still use Draw.io, you can always just click the Mermaid link. It's in the arrange, advanced, insert, advanced, and then Mermaid, and you just copy paste the Mermaid script, and well, yeah, it goes there. We've got GitHub. Yeah, I'm not sure how many of you may write some GitHub README files. Depends on project, I guess. But yeah, it's there. It's possible, and yeah, it makes some of the documentation quite simple. And also Confluence. Yeah, we all love Confluence. And it has. I searched for it the other day, and there are like 4 or 5 plugins. If you search in Confluence plugins that support Mermaid, yeah, as you can see, it has only 1,200 installs. But yeah, it makes some KB space comprehensive. If you didn't have time to, I don't know, draw up some more professional diagrams, still, as you could see, it's not too far away from professional diagrams per se. But if your customer likes, I don't know, Lucid format or just connection between Lucid and Confluence, yeah, maybe you do that. But for like temporary reasons, yeah, it's the best. Yeah, export capabilities. Yeah, after it's about live editor. After you are done creating the diagram, you can copy generated image to the clipboard to paste somewhere you like. You can download or open new tab for PNG format or SVG format, however you prefer in your documentations. You can also adjust PNG size if you would like height and width. There's also new tab for croquis format, which I have not used yet. You got this copy markdown URL, which you can basically, as I saw, it is used mostly for GitHub pages. And you have this enter gist URL, which I don't know what it's about. It's something new. So yeah, but if you are familiar with it, yeah, it's there. Yeah, and now I would go to live demo to show you some of the possibilities that this tool has. I'm not sure if I can. Okay, here, and tell me if you still see the presentation or the code editor, probably in the chat.
As for now, we don't see
No?
the application. We still see the slide.
Ah, Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, I will. It's application here. Yeah, okay. This and
Yep, now we can see.
this. Okay, great. So this is the mermaid. How you will see it, like when you enter the application itself. I go with dark mode mostly, and yeah, you can see here are some of the samples that you can use. Here is this documentation link that also you can go here. You can see all of the types of diagrams that we talked about today, and we can see all the possibilities that are here that each diagram can do. So yeah, it's really really comprehensive, you can say, documentation, and it's the main page says that all the help is welcome, so it may mean something. And yeah, and let's try. I prepared some easy sequence diagram demo for you to see how it works. Yeah, we can. Yeah, it's yeah. I would use sequence diagram for a child who wants to get some presents for Christmas, and yeah. Uh, it's not Christmas, I know, but it will be in 10 months. And yeah, I love Christmas. So let's start. Yeah, we can start with participants. In this case, we can have participant, some child. We can have another participant who may be um, Santa, Santa Claus. Or here we can see if we can use that Santa is Santa Claus. So in notations, we will use Santa. Let's have some middleman in between them. I don't know, some participant to be Pole as North Pole. North Pole. Let's child be actor in this case, and Santa is a person, so maybe he be actor. And yeah, let's probably start. Or it's better if I write this way. Some organization, and yeah, let's start. For example, how we would go. Like we see that child wants to write letter to Santa, right? And let's write a child and just click, and here we can use. I will write it to North Pole, so North Pole, and let's be letter. Or maybe if you're more familiar, we can do post letter. This way, it's posting the letter to the North Pole. Then, yeah, what North Pole does, it may send letter to Santa. For it, like it can, I don't know, wrote letter. And what Santa may do, yeah, it may he may just send back the presents, but he also can validate the request that came from the child. And here we can introduce new participant, which can be list of naughty or nice. And let's have it as we don't want to write it again in the game in the script. We will have it a list, and as is naughty or nice, or being naughty or nice. And here, if you're familiar with HTML, we can also use break so that our notation is not too wide. And yeah, we've got Santa who wants to check, right? Check to list and we want to validate. Well, you are not validating later. Okay, validate child. Okay, child ID. Let's have it an attribute. Yeah, and here the response from the list may be the child being naughty or nice. And let's see alternative here. So let's write out. And here on out we can have like else to write it, and it is at. Yeah. Okay, so this is main parts of the alt, and let's write two possibilities that list may return to Santa. What it is response, it is, let's write this way, Santa. That it was nice response, nice. Or I can just copy this, or it may turn that he's been naughty. Okay, yeah, there are two possibilities, two alternatives, so he may use it. But still, we know, like from legend, how it goes. What happens when a child is validated this way? Yeah, we can, yeah, they can receive a present or receive a call, right? So let's write it here as well. Okay. Oh, and I forgot, we can also write here the criteria is, right, I think it's right, is naughty. Okay, to see, and let's do that if Santa receives. We can say that Santa returns to all response list of presents. And in this case, Santa to all response. Oh, no. Oh. Yeah, well, you got it. But what will, how North Pole will react to this, right? First case, yeah, it will, well, if it is some presents, it will do this way. It will wrap those presents, so that, yeah, we can see that they're wrapping it. But yeah, if it's wrapping, so if it is a call, you need wrap call. And yeah, we've got this, but in both of cases, North Pole should deliver this wrapped gift to child with present or with call, however he deserves, he or she. And let's write a poll. And as it was the first request, let's write it response to child. Response gift. That's it. Well, we've got ourselves some sequence diagram with all the protests. And the most important part here was not like how generally North Pole works, but it was to show you that it just took me so less time, and it is really, really easy. It's automatically, and it doesn't even need to just wait for it. For Lucy, you need to wait like a couple of seconds, but still, if it is huge, it's still a lot of time to wait for it. And yeah, we can have actions, and we can download PNG for it if we want, or we can open this PNG and see the results here. And yeah, you can attach it to user story or on Confluence or anywhere. Well, if you have Confluence plugin, you will be able to just copy it there. Well, that's basically what I wanted to share with you. Probably now we can go to questions.
Yeah, Thank you. Yeah, we have a couple of questions. But before this, I would like to mention if you like this presentation, we would appreciate if you give a badge for Archil or even for me. I will send the link to the chat, so you can find the link to give a badge for the speaker or facilitator. So, thank you. And now we are ready with the questions. So the first question is, do you need to code? Is there any basic editor, meaning visual editor?
No, this is just for coding. It's called code, but it is, yeah, I'm not technical PA in this case. I'm not familiar with a lot of coding languages, but this is so like 3-4 times, and I guarantee you will just know all the notations of the diagram you use. So it's quite easy.
Okay, thank you. Another question, I would say it's a couple of questions from one person. So thank you for the topic. Any tips and tricks on using the tool, or its basic as it is, like online or desktop version, if any, for example, or how to store your diagram, copy source somewhere else, create your profile on Mermaid. And yeah, and I will read the next question probably after you answer these ones.
Okay, thank you for your question. I think it's from me again. Yeah, it doesn't have any like login information or just storing capabilities. I use text editors for it if I want to store some of my code. If I want to store it that way. If I just want to store my diagram, I just download the PNG or SVG in this case. But yeah, the website unfortunately doesn't have any additional capabilities for that. Maybe for future. It saves sometimes if I close a window, if I open it again, it shows me the last what I was writing. Mostly because sometimes it didn't show. So yeah, but yeah, mostly if to answer your question, I use some folders. It's my local machine where I save all those codes, and if I want to get to one of them, I just open and copy paste.
All right, thank you. And there are two questions related to PlantUML from Evgen. Is it the same notation as in PlantUML? And Stanislav is interested if whether it is better than PlantUML.
Thank you for asking. I have not used PlantUML for it, and thank you for giving idea. I will try to use as I just Googled it. It doesn't look too much different than it, but yeah, if it uses a markup language, I'm sure it may be similar to it. But no, I just saw the activity diagram and it is way different. Sequence looks like it, but it's different, but yeah, why not? Just yeah, I would prefer Mermaid by looking at it because it has more I don't know, more futuristic views probably, but it just yeah.
Okay, it's a matter of taste. Okay, thank you. So another question from Natalia. Was there any legal constraint to use it? For example, some company restrict use online tools unless check with license.
Well, because you are not storing anything anywhere, it's same as use, for example, some JSON formatter. If you want to just format, you have really ugly JSON and you want to beautify it. So it's something like that. It doesn't come with some additional responsibilities. So yeah, well, at least for my clients, there was no particular legal thing because you are not saving it anywhere. You are just putting there, get the diagram, and that's it. You delete it.
Okay. And one comment from Stanislav also that there is also integration with Notion. Probably it was like a comment to the slide where you were talking about integrations. Okay. Another question from Alexei. What are the real-life benefits of using such code-based editors for diagramming comparing to the commonly used WYSIWYG editors?
That's good question, Alexei. Yeah, it's also at parts matter of taste, probably. But yeah, in my experience, as I worked with these kinds of well, mostly UML diagrams, it's easy to get lost sometimes. Like when you are drawing it with drag and drop, well, YSIWG editors. It's probably you have more hands-on approach this way, like to build the diagram and show what you're trying to do. But at this point, the editor's plus side is that you are just giving instructions to this tool. You are just saying, okay, I want this participant to communicate this participant, and it does this. So if you're just writing down your requirements or I don't know some document, you are just writing the code in your mind as well with it, and you just put it there, and it just saves a lot of time. For example, for me, I'm using both of them, the visual editors and this tool. I use this Mermaid just to draw up something really fast if I want to do it now. If there is some grooming session and my documentation is not enough, maybe I may just write it down in front of my developers to make them understand. And if I want to, for example, put it in the Confluence, I prefer Lucid. For example, I just, because Confluence has really good this integration with Lucid, I just prefer it. So yeah, it still comes to a taste. But yeah, as for me, as I use it both ways, maybe you can use it as well.
All right, thanks. Like a small comment from Stanislav. He sent Santa delivers wrapped gifts by himself. Comment to you.
Yeah, I have not seen him so far delivering it to me, but yeah, thank you. So, good point.
Yeah. Okay. What are the possibilities to create live diagrams with some actions?
Actions. You mean, yeah, maybe Roman, you can elaborate.
The question, Roman. Could you please extend on a bit more on your question, and we're going further. So the question, since we started with sequence diagram, can we switch to any other diagram instantly?
Well, that's good question, Nagapria. But yeah, no, if you switch to other diagram, you just need to rewrite your code. Or, well, in my case, I just save in my text editor what I'm working on. If I want to switch to different, because notations, the syntax, I mean, is different for each diagram. Yes, that's big minus of it. So if you want to have like change the type, you have first line where it says sequence diagram, flow chart, and so on. It would be nice if you just click, I want this to the flow, I want to get it to be like state, but yeah, it's not like that yet.
Okay, thanks. Another question from Gustava. I guess this tool has a great appeal with us and technical professionals, but have you ever used this tool in a live meeting, workshop with business stakeholders? What was the reaction? How was the experience?
That's really good question, Gustavo. Two levels of it. One level is that, yeah, because we BAs are and one of our roles and our heads that we sometimes wear is to be some translators between business and development team. And yeah, it's a huge role for us. And this way, it is some additional pluses for developers. They appreciate you more this way. So that's one of the part, but still, yeah, it really comes in handy. With business stakeholders, yeah, I used it. I have not used it like on sprint review, but we used it on some of the refinement session when we had with customer. So yeah, as I said, it's mostly used for refinements. And of course, we are documenting with these diagrams. Well, our team lead prefers it. Well, he was actually who taught me diagram. And yeah, he uses it to document some README files in GitHub where we store our code. And yeah, it's been like 3 or 4 months already. Never had a problem with it. So yeah, we even used ChatGPT once in our meeting. So I guess our client is more, I don't know, more agile in this way.
All right. So another question from Roman. Is there a converter from a visual diagram of any non-mermaid format to mermaid script?
No, it's not.
Okay, and I see that Roman has extended on his question regarding actions. Yeah, by action, I mean typical actions for visual diagrams. For example, when you click on a simple node, it displays additional info.
Well, yeah, unfortunately it doesn't. If the maximum that it can does, it can do, is to add some hyperlinks to it. You can put some hyperlink in the notation or in the shape, and just click on it, and you just go to different websites. So that's maximum that it can do.
All right, thanks. Like Monica is in trouble. I'm in the page trying to create a sequence diagram, but not see where I can do it. I don't know. Probably it's better to take it offline to help Monica, or you can.
Sure, Monica, you can write me in case, and yeah.
Yeah, because it's better to show, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, seems there are no more questions. Archil, is it possible to pick the best one?
Yeah, there were some of them that I really liked. I liked romance questions. Yeah, also Alexis' question was really good. Which one? 1 minute. Yeah, well, yeah, let's go with romance questions. Roman, yeah, thank you for questions.
Okay, Roman, I'll send you a badge after the event. Thank you very much for your participation, for staying with us, and hope that this information will be useful for you and for your projects. Thank you very much, Archil, for sharing your knowledge. It was really interesting, and thanks for answering all the questions. Happy Friday and have a good day, weekend. Thanks a lot.
Have a nice weekend, everyone.
Okay, thanks.